Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome back to 365 Days of Love and Miracles with A Course in Miracles. My name is Arlene Geres, and I am so glad that you are here. Please remember to listen right until the very end because we have a special treat for you. And if you enjoyed today's video, please click like and subscribe down below because this helps others to find us on YouTube. Today's lesson is lesson number 117. God being love is also happiness. I seek but what belongs to me in truth, which is our 7th lesson in Review 3. Let's take a look at the first part, which is a review of lesson 103. God being love is also happiness. Let me remember, love is happiness and nothing else brings joy. And so I choose to entertain no substitute for love. Let's take a look back at lesson 103. Happiness is an attribute of love. It cannot be apart from it. If we are practicing love, seeing the world through God's eyes, we cannot help but be happy. In fact, it makes me laugh. This morning I was out walking. In the hedge, there were a bunch of tiny birds just chirping away. It almost sounded like a bird party. Unfortunately, I didn't have my phone with me, so I was unable to capture it for you. But when I see the world through eyes of love, I am in this constant state of joy. It doesn't mean that I don't slip once in a while and go off into my egoic way of thinking. But I recognize it faster and sooner than I ever used to, and I'm able to bring myself back and recognize that I am in the mind of God. I can see the world through His eyes of love. It says here that God being love is also happiness. To fear Him is to be afraid of joy. If we're afraid of God, we cannot be happy. We cannot be joyful. We're waiting for that big hammer to come out of the sky and smash us dead because we have been bad people. Before I came to A Course in Miracles, that's how I saw myself. And I definitely was afraid of God. I've said many times that what I had done is I'd taken away all these terrible things that I thought I had done, and I'd put them in the bank vault. You know, that great big vault where you have your safety deposit box and that door that's this thick and super heavy to swing open. I put all of my dark secrets in that bank vault and I slammed that door shut. I never wanted to look at them again. But an important part of my healing was taking each one of those things out one by one and looking at them, sharing it with a trusted confidant. This can be a counselor, it can be a minister, or it can just be someone that will keep your secrets close. But there is a need for us to share all of that and to take responsibility for what we see as being our mistakes, our wrongs. When we do that, it's like we clean out the clutter. Imagine that bank vault, my own personal bank vault, was just filled up with all of that stuff. You couldn't even get in there. In fact, it was hard to get that door closed because there was so much junk. That was how I saw it in my mind. Today it's pristine, it's beautiful, it's clean. Anytime that I think I mess up, I clean it up right away. I make amends to anyone that I believe I have hurt. And most importantly, I make amends to myself for holding on to a grudge, for holding on to an old pain. We do not need to fear God. God is only love. And I love how it tells us in this practice period to allow this one idea, allow this one correction to be placed within your mind each waking hour. That means that we're to always be thinking about this. It is impossible to be sad when we're thinking, God being love is also happiness. Back to lesson 117. God being love is also happiness. Let me remember, love is happiness, and nothing else brings joy. Nothing from the worldly perspective is going to bring me joy. No amount of money, fame, or fortune is going to fill up that hole inside of me. Only God can bring me joy. And so I choose to entertain no substitute for love. If you're struggling in any of these areas with any kind of addiction, whether it be money, food, shopping, gambling, eating, over-exercise, alcohol, drugs. There are many addictions that we can use to distract ourselves. We fall into these patterns because we believe that these are going to make us happy. And it's like the snake that turns around and bites us. You knew that I was a snake before you took me in. We get ourselves into all kinds of trouble when we recognize that these things truly do not make us happy. They rob us of peace and joy. We turn to God, and that is our source of happiness that never lets us down, never hurts us, never ever forgets us or discards us. We are constantly being loved by God, and we will receive this joy and happiness if we open our hearts to it. Let's look at the second part of Lesson 117. This is a review of Lesson 104. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Love is my heritage, and with it joy. These are the gifts my Father gave to me. I would accept all that is mine in truth. Let's take a quick look back at Lesson 104. It starts by saying, today's idea continues with the thought that joy and peace are not but idle dreams. They are your right because of what you are. They come to you from God, who cannot fail to give you what he wills. Yet there must be a place made ready to receive his gifts. This is the secret to happiness. We make our minds ready. We make them ready by cleaning out the clutter that I just talked about. We make our minds ready by being willing to let go of all of the addictive patterns that we have developed. And if we have trouble letting go of them, we reach out for help, because there are many self-help groups out there. 12-step groups are fabulous for helping us to let go of these old patterns. God cannot fail to give us what he wants to give us. He wants to give us perfect joy, peace, and happiness. We put up the roadblocks. We close our hearts. We think we're not deserving. We think we're bad. We think other people are bad. And we refuse to allow ourselves to have these wonderful gifts that are being offered to us all the time, every day, without fail. Back to Lesson 117. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. It already belongs to you. Imagine that an incredible smorgasbord was laid out in front of you, and you wouldn't eat it. You refuse to eat it, and you starve to death. That's what we do. We have these gifts already, but we have to take that step of being willing to receive them. Love is my heritage. This is who we are. I cannot say it often enough. We are love. God is love, and we are part of God. I want you to say this last line with me. I would accept all that is mine in truth. Let's say it again. I would accept all that is mine in truth. One more time for fun. I would accept all that is mine in truth. Let's take a look back at what we have been told in this review. First thing is, we are urged to follow the suggestions as closely as we can, but not to make them ritualistic, not to beat ourselves up if we miss for a good reason, but also not to make excuses. Third thing to remember is 5 minutes twice a day, first thing in the morning, last thing at night. And in these practice periods, to think about any problems that you're having and relate them to the idea for today. And then we are told to do our hourly and our half-hour practices in the following way. Our reviewing Lesson 103. God being love is also happiness. Just reflect on it. Let the idea sink into your mind. Think about what has happened in the last half hour. Is there something that we need to apply the idea to? And then our evening practice and our half-hour practice. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. And the same thing. Think back on the last half hour. Is there something that you can apply the idea to? I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Thanks so much for listening right until the end, my friends. If you enjoyed today's video, please share the love. Tell others about these videos. Encourage them to start at Lesson 1 and only do 1 lesson a day. Are you ready for our special treat? Good morning, world, and what a gorgeous world it is. Here we are on the rooftop of our hotel, enjoying this glorious sunrise.
Have an amazing day, dear friends. I love you.
God being love is also happiness, and I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Have a wonderfully joyous, happy, free, peaceful, lovely day. Remember to laugh as often as possible. I love you.